This stock has been on a tear since early May. It was up more than 40%, and that was after the recalls. We know they've been bringing back their cheaper treadmill.
Carol,
Romaine. So
this is Carol. I know you follow this company very closely. This is awful. I mean, you have a revenue forecast that's well below what the street was looking for, 20% below what the street was looking for. A company saying that it's going to cut the price of its bike. So now you start to think about margins, and now you have these material weaknesses in internal controls that it's putting out there. Who knows exactly what's in that basket right now? I mean, what do you make of this company right now when you see three red headlines, we should point out, across the Bloomberg terminal here? That has to cause some concern.
Cause of concern, and to be fair with Peloton, it still has a very addicted user base, but they are, of course, trying to bring out new production. They're saying they're beginning to produce more Bike Plus products, but this is a company that's going to be exposed to a certain extent by supply chain issues. They already had those headwinds, and the tread debacle that had already occurred for them, some of the concerns about whether or not the safety of those in your household when you do buy a tread. I know that's something that really affected sort of the thoughts I had on purchasing new products.
Well, the only thing I'm going to say is the Tread Plus is that higher end, and that's the one that's still being held back. That's still in recall. Treadmill's still only about 10% of the company's overall revenues, but this, Taylor, has been where the growth has been.
And they just announced that they were going to start selling that lower end tread, that they fixed the screen on that, and they were coming back to market. The stock had originally rallied on that news. That was a few days ago. I bring back in Romaine identifying material weakness over financial reporting with respect to identification and valuation of inventory. Now, they're saying that it won't result in any restatements of historical weakness, but how you're valuing inventory has huge impacts.
This is, you know this, Taylor. This is
CFA,
level one,
this is
level
one,
two,
two, and three.
and three. And this is pretty fundamental here, Tim.
It really is. Remember, this stock was the pandemic play, up more than 430% last year. And I think a lot of investors asking the question, even at the time, is this a story that continues after the pandemic is over? Is this a story that continues with a reopening? Is it a story that continues? Will people want to stay at home? And to what extent can the company increase, its pipeline and actually come out with new products and services that will continue to appeal to people who potentially, don't have that tread, do not have that bike?
Well, Carol, I have a question for you, though. I mean, if you already own one of these things and you're in that ecosystem, I can understand why you would stick with it. But if you're on the fence trying to figure out, should I buy one of these things now?
You might hold back.
Yeah.
You might hold back.
Why hasn't the press release been released on the website?
Oh, you always hate that.
I don't know. I don't know. But I think that internal controls thing, going back to what Romaine hit upon initially, I mean, that's a thing when you think about a company, you want to make sure that the C-suite, that everybody is overseeing things like that, especially when you're, putting forth over $4,000 certainly for the high-end bike there.
This is going to be a key question for John Foley, of course. He's the co-founder, not just the CEO, chairman as well, and a man who's been leading that business since 2015. Plenty of questions. I know that we got an interview with him coming up and tomorrow, but this is a key question for a man who is leading the business as to what sort of oversight and what sort of due diligence they have across the business.
Yeah, and the other thing is they're cutting the price of the fitness bike by $400 to $1,495, coming after it lowered the price from over $2,200 last September. And when you start seeing them lowering the price point, you do wonder, what does that mean in terms of the company's longer strategy? Do they need to do that because are they losing customers so fast?
Got to say, I still love my bike.